So, it's been over a year since my original Tattletail video was released. I was originally gonna redo the whole video and remake the whole thing from scratch and do all the stuff, but then I watched the video and I said, nope, we're making a part 2. If you haven't watched the first part and you're just new, go watch it after... No, go watch that one first, because then it'll make more sense. But if you have already watched it, then let's move on. This is a series where I talk about my top 10 favorite games. Not in order if you couldn't tell. And tell you why I love them so much. Today is the first episode of the series, and we're starting off with my favorite mascot horror game to this day, Tattletail. We're talking about it again. There's a lot I didn't talk about, especially related to like community stuff, which is something I like to do now. I feel like I went a little soft on actually talking about the game, and I just kind of said, game good, and I talked a little bit about Ben Esposito. That's kind of really a lot of the... Like, I talked about what the game is and like what you do in the game and each night, but I feel like I didn't really talk about why I love the game. So why don't we just start with that? The overall vibe of this game is honestly, let's just put it here, fantastic. The brightness is a little bit of an issue. You play on max brightness, the game feels slightly normal, but when you put it on low brightness, I literally couldn't see anything. I feel like that's the intentional thing, but I honestly, I don't know how to feel about that. Personally, I think it's fine. I do like how you can have like a nice area even on like low brightness. Like you can tell which areas are supposed to make you feel nice, like the Christmas tree, the lights in the kitchen, the lights going down to the basement, and then when they like switch off because it, you know, mama cuts the power, you like have like a safe-ish area where like it feels nice, but it also doesn't. Mama shows up and there's like no safe space, you know what I mean? Like that is great. I didn't mention it last time, I don't think, but I do like the little Christmas tune that plays, or just like the tune that plays in the Christmas tree. I think it adds to like that safe space feeling that the tree gives off, even though you can die there, but that's only when Mama's active. You get the point, okay? You get it. And oh my god, don't even get me started on Kaleidoscope. Throughout Kaleidoscope, the dark and the light areas don't really matter as much as the scenarios that you're in make everything just seem off. I mean, even on the first day, Christmas Day feels off. When you finish the base game Christmas Day, everything feels nice and bright and everything's nice, but when you start off, everything just feels a little weird, and then, well, Tattletail has green eyes and he's a walking nerd emoji. I feel like every day in every area just has some sort of uncanniness to it, and then we get to the final part of Kaleidoscope, and then you just really think about it. Everything about it is great. The vibes of it are they're messed up, they're tangled up, they're spread a grout. What the fuck is a grout? All the different locations, like the brushes and the refrigerators and the battery stuff, they're all split apart, and I love the nice like blue, like kind of greenish hue that kind of is like just like slapped over everything. And then all of like it kind of feels like it's like a frozen in time VHS tape, which is basically what happened. Like that's how you banished Mama. You froze I think like you either broke the VHS tape. No, I think it's either you broke the VHS tape or you sealed her in the VHS tape, which means it's technically a frozen VHS tape. So there you go. Speaking of VHS tapes, I'm just here to say a year later, the VHS tape songs still slap to this day. I talked about the gameplay a little bit last time, but I mean, it's simple. There's not really much to talk about that like most people who are probably watching this video already don't know about. Like, you already know about the 3 meters, you already know about the shaking of the flashlight, you already know about Mama and everything that she does. So it's simple. And sometimes Mama's a bit annoying. Wow. Sometimes she gets in your way a little bit, but she doesn't overstay her welcome, I feel. I do like how after a certain point, she just kind of disappears and lets you do what you would normally do. And then when a major plot thing happens, she just comes back, and then I guess you loop that. But I mean, it's fun. the game is really fun. I also found out while I was recording gameplay for this video that there is in fact a debug mode. I didn't know about that until 2 days ago. As I'm recording this video right now, or at least I'm recording the script, there is a debug mode. Like 2 days ago. So, I had a lot of fun messing around with that. That was fun. And so overall, the game is fantastic. I still think it's the best mascot horror game to ever be released, and I would say that I was a FNAF fan, but I would say I'm a FNAF fan more so of the original 4 games. Maybe I'll include FNAF Sister Location and FNAF 6. I actually read most of the comments on the original video, and first of all, a lot of it was really positive. Oh my god! First of all, a lot of it was really positive, and I thank you all for that. And I know I'm not much of a responder to comments. I feel like have I mentioned that before? Well, I did just now, so there's that. Which is, and I know for a fact that that is something I should definitely change, and I will. I just remember a lot of the comments were talking about like wanting a sequel, not wanting a sequel, how much they love the game, blah, 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 blah. All of those are great comments. I did end up reading 90% of them. My personal favorite comment was the one comment that said, and I'm going to read it out to you right now. My favorite comment was, didn't watch the video, but based Tattletail Sigma fan. And I responded, actually so based. I don't remember responding to that comment. I just want to let everybody know, didn't watch the video, but based Tattletail Sigma fan that's awesome. That was a good comment, let's be honest. I'm a little torn on a sequel. I mean, if I were to get a sequel, I'd prefer a prequel sequel. I'd prefer that. I do agree with not having a sequel at all, like to a certain point. I feel like it's a hard thing to fully like give a definitive answer on. So when I think about it, it's like I saw a comment and I like it saying that like it did what games were supposed to do, and then it was like be a good game and naturally fall out of the spotlight. I mean, like I mostly agree with that because like they also go on to say that bad games are the ones that consistently stay in the spotlight. Garten of Ban, Poppy Playtime. Okay, I actually can say that Poppy Playtime is not as bad as Garten of Ban. I haven't played Poppy Playtime personally. Do I plan to? Maybe. I don't know. No, I think the overall takeaway that I got from one of the comments was, don't be sad that it's over, be glad that it happened. I think that that's just like the main takeaway. That's it. That's it! It's perfect. I love Tattletail so much. We all know this. We all love Tattletail here, I hope. Do we all love Tattletail here? Preface this, I remember writing this because I needed an excuse to talk about the Tattletail plush. And so now I'm here to talk about the fact that most people who probably watched the original Tattletail video didn't go on to watch most of my other content, which is like, I mean, I get that, that's fine, but I made a video on like plush channels and stuff, and I mentioned that I made my own Tattletail plushie based on the neon white design, so there you go. Did you know that U2's made a Tattletail plush that I already bought? I'm very excited about that. I know that some people might be annoyed by me doing this right now, but since we're in the middle of the video, it'd be really cool if you guys who are new, and also people who might not have watched past the original Tattletail video, to go check out the videos that are here, the 3 ones that are here. The DDLC one, the Random Encounters video, and the Plus Channels video. All 3 of those I spent a long time making, and I really liked them. And also subscribe. Sorry for that shameless plug. I just want to now finally talk about my bare bones. It's really just throwing ideas at the wall without making any in-depth ideas, but I wanted to talk about a prequel-sequel idea that I have. Since I know that most mascot horror games, especially recently, go on a chapter-based system, my first thought was to do something kind of like that. Maybe something like Dark Revival, Bending the Dark Revival, where it's all a giant game on release, but it's also split into multiple chapters that you can, you know, save at a certain point, and then so you don't have to like play through a whole game. I'm just saying to make a full game instead of making a chapter of a game. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There is ideas, and I did think about this for just like 5 seconds, of a idea for a normal sequel that isn't a sequel prequel, but there is a lot more you could do with a prequel idea than a sequel idea. Maybe the kid grows up and he goes and he like investigates Waygetter and finds out all the lore about that stuff, because I remember in Kaleidoscope there's like a newspaper stuff, or there's like Waygetter related stuff, and there's also the Waygetter like training tape. What was it? It was like a tape, and there was also like the defective units, Nightlight, Snow Globe. So maybe we could learn about that, but then at the same time we could also do that in a prequel sequel. So it's like, I don't know. We also know nothing about the letter guy, the letter man that was in Kaleidoscope that we just know nothing about. I mentioned it a little bit in the original video, but the VHS secret little codes, those are very important to like figuring out what could be a prequel, because we know that, well, we don't know anything. I was gonna say we know, but we don't know anything, actually. We can maybe figure out why Tattletail and Mama are, like, alive. And it seems to be only a very few number of Mama. Well, it only seems to be one Mama and a very few number of Tattletails, but we don't know why exactly. And as I mentioned earlier, Snow Globe and Nightlight, I'd love to know more about them. And also, just kind of like a lot about Waygetter. I mean, I want to learn a lot about what this world is. And I don't want like 10 games. I just want a big game. It also made me wonder, was there ever a Papa Tattletail? Actually, now that I think about it, that's a pretty good segue into El Papa! Hey! You know, to the 5 people who know what I'm about to talk about, you can't tell me this shit wasn't peak back then. Tattletail Roleplay was a Roblox game that was made by GiantMilkDud on Roblox in 2008. Wait, 2008? That's not 2017. I don't know why it was made in 2008. I think it might have been a different game before. But when you search up the creator on Roblox, it's actually there's a 404 error. And now that I think about it, it's probably because of the things that they did. Eventually, though, the game itself was turned into Toytail, which I don't really care about Toytail at all, honestly. Someone is actually remaking the game on Roblox as well, and in which you'll be seeing some of my gameplay in the background. Their name is You Silly Mama Goose on Roblox, and they have done a pretty good job of recreating it. I mean, I know that you could just go into Roblox Studio, copy, paste the map. That's what I used to do. I used to have a library thing where I go to the library and I play Roblox Studio with a couple of friends and we'd make some stupid maps. I still have one of the places on Roblox. I think it's full of malware though, but every time I would go into this game, I would just run around, collect the different egg types, and I would just love to watch other people's role plays, because you can't really just jump in on someone else's role play, but you can certainly watch like a spectator. And it felt like gladiator fights out there. I was literally in that one Roblox server and there was a full-on like abuse story going on. Listen, man, I don't know what was going on in Roblox Tattletail RP. Oh my gosh, is this an abuse story? Should I be watching this? Do you think I'll get banned off YouTube if I show this? El Papa! Hey! It was crazy. I don't really like getting involved in stuff like that and just in general role plays, because I'm not much of a role player in general, if you can't tell? Maybe you can, but I don't really like doing it over like typing and stuff because then I have to type fast, and I'm not very good with that because every other role player types really fast. I would really only get involved if other people like were asking me a question in game. You had a lot of different characters to choose from. You had Tattletail, Mama, you had the kaleidoscope versions, you had El Papa, you had Bijou Mike, Markiplier, Mr. Pikminator, Tailgore, Hubert. So many fun characters. Oh, you're wondering who Hubert is. All I know is that Hubert is a species. There are many. I loved all the fun little secrets and all the different skins that you could unlock. Unfortunately, you had to pay for 99% of them because Robux and greed and money. All of the good skins you had to pay like a couple dollars for, basically. And yeah, I mean, you still have to do it now. I feel like it would be kind of fun if you didn't have to do that. You could just unlock them normally, but you can't. Greed and money. Tattletail roleplay was one of the greats of role-playing content on Roblox, at least maybe one of the better Roblox games that I played. Anyway, I'm all done with that stuff. This video was great, and yeah, I love this video. And wait, do you hear that? Is that Fandroid? Oh no! So, yeah, I'm putting fan songs at the end, which is something I love doing nowadays, honestly. Every time I talk about a game, I have to talk about the fan content and the fan songs. You're gonna expect to see fan songs for most horror games that I talk about. So first off, the reason why I'm not gonna be talking about Don't Tattle on Me, or at least the original version, I mean, I can talk about, like, the Living Tombstone version, and, like, the cover that Campbell Hiles did. Is that his name? Fandroid and Griffinilla are both the same person, and they're both groomers, so I don't like them. But when we talk about DA games for a second, FNAF Connoisseur, one of the best to ever do it in FNAF. Turn the Final Page, I can't lie, Turn the Final Page is probably the best Tattletail song if you don't count JT Music existing. And you know what, speaking of JT Music, come over here. I'm only running for the exercise. I like the Tattletail rap he did. Mostly because Tattletail is DA Games, and I think that that's really funny. I think that Tattletail being DA Games is funny. And just like 99% of JT Music songs, it's super good. So, that's all I really need to say. Try Hard Ninja may be the go to Five Nights at Freddy's, and DDLC. He may have some of the best to ever do it there. And who am I kidding? The Tattletail ones are good too. I especially like the instrumental of this one. The other one he made is fine. It's probably one of his weakest songs I think I've ever heard, but that's just because it's so basic compared to all the other songs he's made ever. This won't be the last time I mention CK9C. I feel like there's a better way to say that. I don't know. Mostly because I know I'm making a FNAF video. I've been hinting at it, saying that I'm gonna make a FNAF video. I'm talking about every single FNAF fan song creator that I watched when I was younger. So assuming that, there's a FNAF video coming, okay? I don't know when it's gonna happen. Because, you know, Funtime Dance Floor, we're gonna be talking about all of those songs when the fan song section comes up in that video. Mama Hates You might be the weakest link here. It might be, but I feel like that Try Hard Ninja song might be the weakest link there too. That doesn't mean the songs are bad, obviously. They're actually really good. They're just like the worst of the best, which is a good thing. And obviously I'm not talking about the Fandroid song. That one's probably the worst one. I think you can tell why. And now we're here at the end. I had a lot of fun writing this, going through the game again. I felt like in the last video, I didn't really do much justice in saying how much I love this game, and I felt like I should go more in depth, which is what I decided to do here. And, yeah. The game was a short success, Tattletail, and maybe that was for the best. I mean, there's a great community that came around it for the most part. I didn't talk about it last time. The voice actors for Tattletail and Mama were very good. They did very good. And also, did you know that Tattletail's voice actor did work on OKKO? I'm sorry, what? Also, she was the writer for Neon White, so that's number 6 on the list right there, you can tell. And I mean, that makes sense. Ben Esposito was also the creator of Neon White, so. Do I have to mention that again? I know Ben Esposito will never see this in his life, but I mean, thank you for making this game. It's a fantastic game. I love it. I'm hoping that more stuff happens in the future since, I mean, the game isn't dead. It got a plushie now, so, I mean, that's great. And I gotta ask, does anybody know if you can easily mod this game or if there's a modding community for it at all? If Ben Esposito won't make a game, why not the community? Anyway, guys, hope you like this video as much as I did making it. It's nice to come back and make a part 2 because I feel like this video especially deserved it. And also, this is a part of a bigger series where I go over the rest of my top 10 favorite games. And so, yeah, I plan to make a sequel on my DDLC video, which I know I mentioned a little bit before, but I plan to go more in depth talking about the story because while I felt like I did a pretty good talk about Tattletail's story and everything that happens because it's so, I guess it's so straightforward, DDLC has a lot of stuff I just kind of brushed over and I didn't really dig deep into it. And I plan to, especially since I didn't really dig too deep into the side story content, which, yeah. Go watch the Doki Doki video and let me know what you think about it. I will be reading the comments on any of the videos that I, talked about here that I said to go watch. But take a guess as to what the next of the top 10 list is going to be. What's the next episode of the top 10 list? It's going to be none of my top 5 games. I'm going to wait until I get the bottom 5 done. So you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting it correct. 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 1